We are Big Sky High's filmmaking class. Throughout the year, we will roam the halls, bug the administrators, and let the public know what's happening at Big Sky High. This is Red Light Blinking.
Hello and welcome to the second season of Red Light Blinking. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Loomis, along with Aaron Famel, and today we're going to interview Mr. Walt Serba, who is the Dean of Students here at Big Sky High School. And Mr. Serba, I'm going to start out with a relatively easy question. What is a dean?
A dean basically is a member of the administrative team that's been placed in charge of attendance and discipline. We're responsible for this to principal, to the community, and to the parents about finding out where the students are and holding them accountable for being in class.
So on average, about how many students do you speak to a day about attendance?
Right now, we aren't seeing that many students because it's fresh. Everybody's still eager to go to class, hopefully to learn. As we start into the school year, things get more hectic. Students also tend to get very busy doing other things. So we'll see approximately 70 to 90 students a day on attendance discipline. But most of those are problems where parents have failed to call in to clear the record, that type of thing. So I would say 10 to 15% of that, maybe up from 15 to 20 kids a day that are true unexcused absence from class.
About how many excuses do you get a day, different ones?
Oh, most of them usually fall into 3 or 4 categories. Oh, I was late, I overslept, there was an accident on the street.
Do you have any particular creative one you'd like to?
Yeah, the one sticks out in my mind about a young lady a couple of years ago. I was tracking down, I called her to the door, and she said, my dog had puppies, and yesterday was the last day that they were home, so I went home to say goodbye to the puppies. I thought that was a pretty good answer. I've never had that one before, so I bought it.
So do you have any other duties besides being the dean?
Oh, there's many duties that we try and do. We try and patrol the hallways because threat of vandalism, thievery that goes on. We're all over the building. Our presence in the halls during passing time also helps to discourage, hopefully, fighting and intimidation problems like this that we occur. We're out in the parking lot, again, to kind of get kids away from being in the parking lot so there's less vandalism, there's less theft in the parking lot. I contact parents a lot. I talk and communicate with them. Unfortunately, some parents and I are on first name basis. Also, there's other things that we do, such as attending events and things like this. Just the presence of the dean being there helps to make sure it's orderly process and kids don't get too overly rowdy. Some of the things we do in the springtime is 2 of the big track meets we have. I cook burgers and beans for the workers and the coaches at that time, and it's something I enjoy doing.
How did you become a dean?
Good question. Many years ago, when the other principal was here, Miss Darlene Smith, inquired one time if I'd like to come up and help Mr. Pease at that time because he was swamped with attendance and discipline problems because he also was the athletic director and did many other functions. And so I was invited up and I started working for Mr. Pease, but Miss Smith laid out the rules, the ground rules being that I could contact students, but I could not officially do anything with them as far as discipline. That had to be turned over to Mr. Pease, which I did. And then when the new principal came on board, one of the things that he petitioned the school board for was that we acquire 2 deans like the other buildings. And I applied and was interviewed by site-based members and by the administrative team, and I was selected as one of the deans. Mr. Foreman was the other dean last year. And I think that there's been a turnabout in the atmosphere in the hallways and throughout the building. And also there's been a change in type of students. They're less rowdy, I feel. There's less intimidation of the younger students. And I think also there's less garbage in the hallways. And that is something that I think speaks highly of our staff and our student body.
Now, we're wondering, is the school any different now than it was in the past?
Reflecting back 3-4 years ago when I moved up to the office, I think it's greatly different. I've had many teachers say that this has been one of the best openings of schools they've ever had. To reflect back, there's less garbage in the halls at noon because Site Base has asked that students not bring in food or drink in the halls at noon because if they do, it always ends up in the hallway. So usually we collect the drinks and things like that at the doorway as they come in. The students are very good about that. We've gotten away from the old carpet here in the main part of the building, which really has helped as far as cleanliness, in my opinion. One of the things that have stuck out in my mind this year as we've come back, in the past, the Rowley students would tear down all the signs and all the decorations that the other students had put up to welcome students back the first week of school. We're now entering the third week of school. If you'll notice, there are still decorations still up, and that is a first. The other thing that's a first, we set a milestone this year at Big Sky. For the first time ever since Big Sky has opened, we're now going in the third week. We have not had a fight on school grounds or within the building. That is a first, and I attribute that to the students and to the staff being out in the hallways. So their presence is, well, I really enjoy having the teachers out there and mingling with the students. I think it helps a great deal.
Those are some pretty good accomplishments.
I think so.
I've also heard some things about more fire drills and such this year. Can you elaborate?
Yes, I'd like to on that. The superintendent has mandated that we do 9 drills this year. 7 of the drills will be probably fire drills. Maybe Thursday or Friday a.m. we'll probably have another fire drill. But 7 of them will be fire drills, and 2 others will be different types of drills. Last year we did a lockdown type drill. That'll probably occur again this year, plus we also have an extra one where we have to evacuate the building and go towards a site. Let's say we could have a scenario where we would pretend that there is a hazardous spill out in the teacher's parking lot. Therefore, we would evacuate the students out of the school backwards towards the stadium and have them sit in the stands. And this is mandated by the superintendent. And of course, this is all reflections on the happenings that have happened throughout the United States because, like an example, the Columbine High School type of thing.
Okay. Well, our thanks for Mr. Walt Serba for being here. For Aaron Flamel, I'm Matt Loomis, and now on to our next segment.
I'm Marissa Badziak, and I'm here with Jay Christopher today, talking about the new grant that Missoula schools received. Are you familiar with the $2.75 million grant to help at-risk kids?
Well, I am familiar with it. We last year, when they were putting the grant together in the spring, they asked me to contribute sections to the grant regarding statistics on the district, how many kids have done this or what kind of money we spend on that, and so test scores and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I met with the team of writers on several occasions, and over the course of about a month, we contributed our stuff, and then they put this whole big, huge grant together.
Could you give us your definition of an at-risk kid that we're
Well,
trying to help here?
I think there are as many definitions as there are people working with at-risk kids, but my sense is that somebody who's at risk is a person who, either psychological, social, intellectual, familial reasons, is at less of an advantage within our school system or within the community than other kids, average kids, that kind of thing.
Does our school, Big Sky, have any immediate plans?
Well, I think the ways that this grant will affect Big Sky immediately is probably with the through law enforcement. I think that there will be some officers that will be in our building on a regular basis to help kids to understand that, we do want to provide a safe environment for everybody. So I think that's probably the most immediate effect of this. The long-range effect is that we'll probably have a better system of keeping track of what we do, like how many kids, statistical stuff, how many kids are involved in what, and, like drug and alcohol use, and keeping track of grades and failure rates and those kinds of things.
Well, thank you for your time.
Okay.
And now to our next segment.
Today we are interviewing Corey Miller, Student Body President. How is your school life different now that you are the Student Body President?
Well, let me think about it a minute. My school life, I don't know, I walk down the halls and all I hear is, hey, there's the president, or hey, president, can you do this for me? And I answer them, yeah, I try to do the best that I can. It's a lot different. I never thought I'd be where I am now. And I guess it's an exciting feeling to work for the people that go to my school and try to make it a better place.
Well, a lot of people are discussing this leadership camp. Could you expand more on that?
Yeah, leadership camp was an idea that was brought to me by Mr. Marcinkowski, which is our advisor, and he said that when he was a student body president at Hellgate, he took the students and brought them to a camp where he brought like 2 or 3 people from each clique, put them together in a group, and did some sort of barrier breaking or prejudice reduction workshop with them. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a prejudice reduction workshop so that the students can come to this camp, they can meet the other people in our school and kind of break down the barriers that are between like different cliques in our school. And hopefully it'll boost school spirit and, I don't know, at least eliminate some of the violence and hopefully all of it.
Do you think it'll help for homecoming week?
Yeah, that was one of the main goals, is that we could boost our school spirit. And right after this leadership camp is homecoming week. And this year, it's going to be a lot better. We're going to have 2 assemblies, one Monday and one Friday. The Monday one's going to be a competition assembly. The Friday one's going to be an introduction to the athletes assembly. We have stuff planned for every night. It'll be extremely exciting with the powder puff and the bonfire. And I just encourage everybody to get involved. And we're going to be on your back, at least trying to help you get involved. And we want to see you there, and we want our school to be extremely positive this year.
Well, thank you, Corey. And now to our next segment.
For the past couple of years, there's been questions about Y2K. What is it? Why should we care? And what needs to be done about it? Some say that computers will crash, the world will collapse, and all order will stop as chaos runs rampant. Now, to help douse the fire and share some information and opinion with us, we go to Candy Cherry and then Jennifer Copenhaver.
I think that it is an interesting problem that probably is understandably going to affect us in some ways, because I think it would have taken a lot of foresight for the people who invented computers to think as far ahead as they did when they were actually making a computer the size of a classroom that would only run a calculator. So I can understand why it's an issue. I think that in the United States we probably don't have a whole lot to worry about. I think that there will be, we aren't really in danger or anything, because I think that our government and probably our power system and everybody that is involved with the main banking and that type of thing, I think take care of it.
I don't know, bad things are going to happen, like the world is going to end, or computers are all going to go crazy. And
okay, what is the scariest part about Y2K to you?
Oh, I don't know, it doesn't really scare me, actually.
I think as far as impact goes, I think it will be a bigger deal for places like the Asian continent, Russia, China, places where they haven't had the resources to do the Y2K compliance.
Thank you for watching this edition of Red Light Blinking. This is Jenny McCleary signing off.